Sponsorships can be an incredible way to get your brand in front of the right people, generate leads, and build brand awareness. But when should you invest in a sponsorship? How do you know which sponsorship is right for you? Today, I share with you my criteria for picking a good sponsorship so you don't end up like Bud Light in June. Bud Light strikes again with another bad sponsorship. After losing a total of 24.6% of its sales up to this point during its controversial sponsorship of Dylan Mulvaney, Bud Light continues to brilliantly sponsor everything their audience disagrees with, up to and including naked men exposing themselves in front of children. I mean, this is pretty wild. Due to Bud Light's incredible sponsorship choices, Modelo is now the #1 most sold beer in America. Great job, Bud Light, but how could this have ever happened? Just a few months ago, Bud Light was the top selling beer in America. Who could have ever predicted this fallout? Oh, right, forgot that naked people in public isn't like a very widely accepted thing. It's wild because Bud Light's previously patriotic majority of its audience aren't in favor of public nudity in front of minors. That just seems like a no-brainer that all of us can agree on is a bad move. Well, whatever craziness is happening in the corporate world, I think we can all say as business owners that you shouldn't sponsor events where nude men, no matter what their sexuality, run around in front of children. So there's your first tip of this episode: avoid sponsoring nude men in front of children. All right, perfect. So if that wasn't a no-brainer for you, I'm glad you're watching this episode. So how did this all happen? So how did Bud Light decide to pick these terrible sponsors that's been leading to all of this terrible backlash? First it's Dylan Mulvaney, then it's this, pride parade of naked men. I mean, how does this happen? And what's going on is Bud Light is doing sponsorships, which can be great for business, but they're just picking really bad sponsorships based on their target ideal audience. And so when you're picking a sponsorship, you need to be focusing on the right things. So if you're a small business owner, if you're a realtor, if you're a salesperson, you may never have done a sponsorship before. So what is a sponsorship? What's the purpose of it? Why do people do it? So a sponsorship is where you as a company or business buy a marketing promotion and partner with an existing company or organization to gain brand awareness, public goodwill, and generate more leads that will eventually turn into sales. I'm not sure if Bud Light knew this. According to them, a good sponsor lowers sales, creates brand confusion, and negative public backlash. Quite odd if you ask me, with how much they spend on their marketing team. Okay, but seriously, for your business, when you're trying to grow, one of the best investments you can make when you are in a growth phase of your business is trying to generate more qualified leads. A lot of times when we're trying to generate new leads, we go back to the normal, I'm gonna work really hard and cold call and do all that kind of stuff, which is great if you're early on in your business. If you've been working in your business for a few years, you've got a lot of good testimonials, you're great at the sales process, and it really just comes down to how many leads can I get in front of me, and most of them will say yes because your sales process is good. Sponsorships can be a really useful thing for you, because if you can get leads to just show up on your doorstep from someone else's activities, that's going to actually multiply your time. It does cost money, but it is worth it. Okay, but seriously, for your business, when you're trying to grow and you have enough capacity for a lot of new leads, one of the best investments you can make is actually in sponsorships. Most of us, when we want to generate new leads, we go back to the grindstone. We go work really hard, but we've made all of this money, and why not invest some of it into a company or an organization that's in front of our ideal audience that sends us leads and gets us in front of the right people to where we can generate leads without having to do all of the work. That's called multiplying your time. And although it's an investment, the return on investment is so much more, because especially if you're in the high ticket sales industry, you sell 1 or 2 more clients and it pays for sometimes a year to 2 years of a sponsorship deal. And if it's doing that and you don't have to go put in all the extra work and time and you're just benefiting from getting the leads, it's completely worth it. If you're sponsoring someone who's appealing to your ideal audience, who already has the incredible relationship, you can gain some of that audience and their trust. So that way, when they hear about you from their trusted source, the sponsor that you're sponsoring, they will also know, like, and trust you because they're recommending them. So a really great example of this is like Spartan races. If you never heard of a Spartan race, it's where you do a really difficult 3-mile race for the shortest one, and you climb a bunch of stuff and you get all muddy. Well, at the end of that race, it's pretty exhausting, and they give you free stuff, water and all these sort of things. But there's like healthy beer brands, there's protein water, there's Celsius, there's beef jerky, there's protein supplements. All of the things that athletes like to eat, buy, consume to help them perform at a higher level, all of those companies show up at these Spartan races and they put up tents and they sell all their stuff, and they're sponsoring the race for brand awareness. That way people will start ordering their stuff. I remember grabbing some protein water, and I drank protein water for the next month or two because it was at that race. Another great example that we've all heard of, Nike, Adidas, sponsoring sports teams to get in front of everybody who enjoys watching sports, which are athletes. So that way they will buy their merchandise. Now for the small business, real estate agents could sponsor investment groups because those people buy houses over and over and over, and real estate agents need clients who buy houses over and over and over. Loan officers, title agencies, lawn care, and construction businesses that work in the real estate market might sponsor brands that cater to realtors, for example. Speaking of which, I am looking for sponsors in each one of those areas, as I'm in front of a lot of realtors who could benefit from those services, and it would add value to what they're doing and hopefully help them sell and close more houses and build a better relationship with their clients. If you're an owner of one of those companies or perform one of those services, go ahead and shoot me an email at josephignace1@gmail.com, and you'll want to hurry because I'm only going to accept one sponsor in each one of those categories. That way there's no competitors for my sponsors that sign up, and they can get the most possible, they can get the biggest return on investment from actually working with me. So funny how that comes up, but one of the great things, I just did an episode on leveraging podcasts to grow your business, which you should also watch after this video if you haven't. You can promote things to your audience, which is great, and it doesn't come off as weird. Those are just a couple examples of sponsorships. There's so many different ways to sponsor. You can sponsor YouTube channels, podcasts, you can sponsor nonprofits. There's all these ways to get in front of your ideal audience, and if you're smart about it, you can generate a lot of leads, a lot of goodwill, a lot of good branding. So that way when your clients come in and they talk to you, they're much more likely to buy. Sponsorships are incredible to get your brand in front of the right people. And I want to emphasize something. It's less about the volume of the number of people coming to the event or listening to the person as it is about the right people coming to the events or listening to the person, especially in the high-ticket industry. It's better to be in front of 800 realtors if you're a loan officer than 10,000 random people. And the reason that is because a loan officer helps realtors close houses. They help the realtor's client get the loan they need so they can close. And so a realtor may sell 10 to 100 houses a year, and however many they sell, 10 to 20 houses a year on average. So if they had 20 good relationships, that's 400 sales a year for that loan officer. That's why it's more valuable to be in front of the 800 versus the 10,000. So you may be asking, what's the best way to get your name in front of the right people? You'll hear that right after this. So we all know that having an online presence is a huge milestone in any business's success, but the knowledge gap you have to leap to get there is really massive. How do you write a good script, record with good lighting, and make the audio sound good? Let alone make the content engaging so anyone will even watch it. Many of you know that the Knowledge Gap is opening up its very own audio and video recording studio for business owners right here in downtown Knoxville. We have the solution for you. We want to help you with podcasting, marketing, selling, growing your business. We will make it simpler and easier than ever. That's why we want to help you bridge your knowledge gaps in the content creation space and winning in the online industry. So come check out the studio. Shoot me an email at josephignace1@gmail.com to book a free tour today. See if your business is ready to start winning in the online space. All right, thanks for listening to that, everybody. I hope you come down to the studio. So there's two major decision-making criteria that I would advise you to look at before deciding to sponsor with someone. I just went through this with the Chamber of Commerce here in Knoxville, and I'll explain exactly why I'm going to be sponsoring them here in the near future. The first and foremost important thing that you do when you're considering a sponsorship is to see if their mission, vision, and values agrees with your mission, vision, and values. So you want to take a really good look and ask some deeper questions about why the organization exists, why they do what they do, what their goals are for the future. Because if you guys don't mesh as leaders, you're not going to be able to work very well together long term. It's why Bud Light's probably struggling. I don't know what their mission, vision, and values are. I've looked them up. They're a little bit confusing, and they seem to be contrary to their sponsorships. So I don't know how that ended up happening, but the question they failed to ask, this is one of the most important things, is do the values of the company you're looking at sponsoring match with the values of your ideal audience that you've worked so hard to build? If the sponsor does not line up with your ideal audience, do not work with them. It will hurt you, and you will unfortunately pull a Bud Light. For example, when I met with the Chamber of Commerce, their goal is to make Knoxville a better place, network, and help people provide a better world where there's more jobs, higher increased median income, and all that kind of fun stuff. And so that right there is right on line with making the world a better place. And so we are matching on the mission, vision, and values of what we're trying to do. They're trying to help businesses grow. I'm trying to help businesses grow. It's an awesome sponsorship opportunity, and I'm excited to start working with them soon. The number 2 thing that you should be looking for when considering a sponsor is good versus bad sponsorships. What I mean by that is the actual value you are given from giving the money to the sponsor. While in general, sponsors can't guarantee a numerical number of leads or results from becoming a sponsor, you do want to ensure that you're getting adequate value for your investment. So you need to ask yourself the question, what are they doing for you that puts you in a place to win? Most sponsorships give you brand awareness, like sharing your logo, adding hyperlinks to your website, and putting your brand in front of your ideal audience on their videos and platforms. But few do what I am about to share with you that I do for my current and future sponsors, and that the Chamber does for its sponsors as well. And I know that not every company does this before, because when I was running a fitness company and we sponsored a podcast, they did not do this, and it frustrated us, and that was a complete waste of money. So I do not want you to waste money. I want you to pick a sponsor, if you're going to go this route, that's actually going to get you a return on your investment to where you can grow your business, make more money, and multiply your time so you can focus on working on the business instead of in the business. So what the Chamber of Commerce does is they're giving you actual leads. They're giving you phone numbers. They're connecting you with, for example, in my case, business owners. And what I do for people in my industry is when I do keynotes and workshops, and when I go and have a Lion Chasers business growth club, I put specific questions on the surveys that I create for all my speeches, keynotes, and workshops. So every time I'm in front of people, there's an opportunity for them to answer these questions that are specific to my sponsor's needs. So that way we know if my sponsor should connect with the right person. That's a big deal. Having a question like, hey, do you have a loan officer? And if you're a realtor and you say, hey, you're looking, that right there is called a warm lead. And there's a good shot that that lender and that realtor can work really well together. And all I want to do is help my sponsors have the best possible chance of making a return on their investment, so keep working with me. If you like this video, go ahead and comment below with your feedback. What do you think about all this stuff? Have you tried a sponsor before? What's been your best case scenario? What's been your worst case scenario? Any advice to share for all of our business owners on the show? We really appreciate you guys. And if you want, I can make a video on how to create a sponsorship package for your own business so you can start selling, networking, and capitalizing on the network that you created with sponsorship revenue. Until next time, stay purpose-driven. I appreciate you for watching. This episode is sponsored by Campus Cuts by Monica. Monica has been cutting hair for University of Tennessee students for more than 37 years. If you're a guy and you're going to UTK or you live within 15 to 20 minutes of campus, Monica is the place to go if you want a worry-free, stylish haircut that will make you stand out with the ladies. Did I mention she has a pool table and refreshments while you wait? Follow Campus Cuts by Monica on Instagram and book an appointment by calling her today.